The girl had just reached for the oar that had fallen into the water when something terrible happened. Although she wasn't dragged into the water by the giant piranhas, her arm was severely bitten. Seeing this, her companions quickly used a belt to try to stop the bleeding, but the wound continued to bleed profusely. It seemed she had hit a major artery, and everyone was panic-stricken and at a loss. Meanwhile, Zeke, who loved photography, kept taking pictures, seeing that the girl was in danger of losing her life. Matt could only try again to retrieve the oar and get back to shore quickly. Unexpectedly, the piranhas attacked again, biting through the oar with their massive jaws. When they finally came to their senses after the shock, they realized the girl had lost all signs of life due to excessive bleeding. With no other option, the group desperately paddled with the remaining oar towards the shore. They tried to call for help but found there was no signal. To make matters worse, the piranhas didn't seem to intend to let them go and started ramming the boat with their bodies. Simon quickly used the oar to fend them off, but the piranhas swam away only to return soon after. In a moment of desperation, Simon decisively drove the oar into the piranhas, only to be pulled into the water along with them. Seeing the piranhas charging at him, Simon scrambled back onto the boat with his companions' help. However, the enraged piranhas violently rammed the boat, causing it to be severely damaged and start leaking. The group was trapped in the middle of the lake, but even at this point, Zeke was still focused on filming. Matt was so frustrated that he slapped him. The piranhas continued to circle around, looking for another chance to attack. Although still impaled with the oar, the piranhas didn't seem significantly affected. Seeing that they were all in imminent danger, Zeke proposed a desperate plan: use the girl's body to distract the piranhas and then paddle to shore. Though reluctant, they had no choice but to agree for their survival. They threw the body into the water, and the scent quickly attracted the piranhas, which dragged the girl's body to the bottom of the lake in an instant. Seeing this, the group paddled furiously, but without the oar and with the boat taking on water, their progress was very slow. At that moment, Zeke saw with horror that the piranhas had finished the girl's body and were now closing in on them. It seemed the piranhas not only had a huge appetite but also ate very quickly. The boat's water level was rising rapidly. With no other options, the group had to work together. The others bailed water out by hand while Matt continued to slide forward with a plastic bag. Unexpectedly, the piranhas suddenly appeared in front and snatched the plastic bag from Matt's hands. Their hope of escape was dashed again, and they could only throw snacks from the box into the water to try and divert the piranhas' attention. However, the recently fed piranhas weren't interested. As they prepared to continue paddling away, the piranhas swam back towards them. Zeke, always full of bad ideas, came up with another plan. Someone would have to volunteer to go into the water to distract the piranhas, giving the others a chance to escape. Matt agreed with Zeke's suggestion but thought the person who should go in as bait was Johnny. After all, it was Johnny who had led them into this lake and the ensuing danger, but Simon argued that Zeke should be the one, as it was his clever idea. A heated debate ensued over who should go into the water, with everyone giving reasons why they couldn't. As the only woman on the boat, Kitty was the first to be ruled out. Matt and Simon, being strong brothers, were the best candidates to paddle the boat to safety. Zeke, with his excellent academic record, shamelessly claimed he would become a great director and achieve much in the future. Moreover, with his physical strength, he would certainly die if he went into the water. That left Johnny as the only choice. Growing up by the lake, Johnny was the best swimmer and might have a slim chance of survival as bait to attract the piranhas. The tense voting began, and the result was clear. Except for Kitty, who voted for Zeke. Everyone else voted for Johnny. It turns out that years of friendship couldn't withstand the test of human nature in the face of life and death. Johnny finally saw the true colors of these people and, disheartened, jumped into the water. He swam several hundred meters away in one breath, while the piranhas quickly noticed and pursued him. Despite Johnny's fast speed, he couldn't escape the piranhas and disappeared beneath the lake's surface. The others, seeing this, immediately headed back to shore without looking back. Heidi paddled desperately while accusing everyone of being so heartless, especially her boyfriend Matt, who hadn't voted for Zeke. But Matt believed Johnny had a better chance of survival than Zeke and knew Johnny had a secret crush on Kitty, so he saw no reason to vote for Zeke. Instead, he questioned Kitty why she hadn't voted for Johnny and if she wanted to use him as a backup. While the arguments continued, the boat was suddenly hit hard from below. The dreaded piranhas had returned. It seemed that no matter what, they couldn't escape the piranhas' clutches today. Given the situation, they could only try to confront them head-on. After some searching, they found only a few fireworks. which they lit to scare off the piranhas. Though this method was effective in driving the piranhas away, the crisis wasn't over. The leaking boat continued to sink, and the piranhas were bound to come back. In the midst of their uncertainty, Simon proposed sacrificing another person, but Zeke firmly rejected the idea. Knowing that Matt and Simon were brothers, and since Kitty was Matt's girlfriend, Zeke knew he would likely be the one to go. With the piranhas closing in, the brothers prepared to forcefully throw Zeke overboard as bait. At that moment, Zeke revealed a shocking secret. He confessed that he had seen Simon secretly dating Kitty in the school gym. Before he finished speaking, Simon threw a punch, accusing Zeke of sowing discord to save his own life and urging Matt to throw Zeke overboard. Though Matt was skeptical, he trusted his brother and, in the end, joined in throwing Zeke into the water. Despite Zeke's desperate pleas, the three showed no signs of wavering and left him behind. Not long after, Zeke was devoured by the piranhas, leaving only his severed hand with a camera floating on the surface. But Zeke's sacrifice didn't enable the remaining three to escape. Without oars, the leaking boat was difficult to maneuver. Matt, despite trusting his brother and girlfriend, couldn't ignore Zeke's words. From their flirtatious behavior, it was clear Simon and Kitty had an affair, but the priority was to get to shore safely. So Matt started looking for usable tools. He stumbled upon an axe in Johnny's backpack. Armed with a weapon, Matt felt confident, declaring that the next time the piranhas appeared, it would be their end. Just then, the boat was hit again by the piranhas, and a large amount of lake water rushed in. The piranhas began gnawing at the boat, making a huge hole in seconds. Seeing the boat about to be torn apart, Heidi grabbed the axe and swung at the piranhas. Her brave attacks caused the piranhas significant pain, forcing them to retreat. Heidi's bravery made the brothers reassess her, but their immediate problem was still how to get to shore. Meanwhile, a familiar figure appeared on the shore: Johnny, who had escaped the piranhas. Seeing his former companions still stranded in the lake and noticing the wooden boat left by his grandfather on the shore, Johnny decided to help. Unbeknownst to him, this decision would come at a great cost. Seeing Johnny alive and approaching, the three cheered up, but given their selfish actions, Johnny was willing to only tow their boat to shore and didn't want them on his boat. With no other choice, the three agreed. As Johnny threw the rope to pull them to shore, the piranhas attacked his boat. Johnny lost his balance, fell, and got tangled in the rope around his neck. If only they could cut the rope, Johnny would survive. But Kitty, holding the axe, hesitated to act, and Matt and Simon did nothing. The three selfishly watched as Johnny was strangled by the rope. Johnny's kindness cost him his life, but the three didn't get their wish. As they tried to pull the boat closer, the piranhas overturned it again. Strangely, this time the piranhas didn't immediately eat Johnny. It was clear they intended to deal with the three first before savoring Johnny. Simon, unwilling to wait to die, quickly used the axe to chop at the boat's boards. Using the planks as oars, they continued paddling to shore. But as they paddled, Matt suddenly stopped. He needed to confront the truth about Zeke's accusations and demanded answers from Simon and Kitty. Simon and Kitty, obviously guilty, avoided the topic, saying they would explain later once they reached shore. Matt, already suspicious, needed answers now. Under his persistent questioning, they admitted their affair. The brothers quickly turned on each other, with the stronger Matt gaining the upper hand. However, Matt didn't go all out, considering Simon was his own brother. Simon, furious, accused Matt of attacking him over a woman, especially one who had seduced him. In Simon's outburst, he shifted the blame onto Kitty, who was indeed a fickle woman. Even though Matt was a handsome guy, Kitty was involved with others. Since someone had to attract the piranhas, the brothers decided to throw Kitty in as bait. Facing death, Kitty still tried to provoke the brothers, telling Matt she actually liked Simon because he was bad and wild. Enraged, Matt threw her into the water. Kitty tried to struggle, but Simon used the axe to stop her. Helpless, Kitty vanished below the surface, seeking another chance at survival. Matt was visibly saddened by losing his girlfriend. Although Simon confessed everything, their brotherly bond was irreparably damaged. To prevent future troubles, Simon decided to eliminate his own brother. Fortunately, Matt noticed in time and, using his strength, subdued Simon, who begged for mercy. But Matt wasn't going to let him off easily. In the chaos, Simon fell into the water, his head bleeding from the earlier fight. Unable to watch his brother die, Matt decided to go in and save him. However, as Matt pulled Simon towards the boat, the piranhas reappeared. Instead of warning Matt, Simon seized the chance to kick him towards the piranhas and swam to shore. Matt, with no chance to fight back, was bitten by the piranhas and dragged underwater after a brief struggle. Miraculously, Kitty, who had just gone underwater, managed to climb onto the overturned boat. As the piranhas took Johnny's body away, Kitty dove back into the water and swam to shore. When she finally reached the shore, Simon surfaced shortly after. Seeing Simon, who had killed her boyfriend, Kitty fled in fear, but Simon wouldn't let her go. He chased her down, holding her underwater until she stopped breathing, thinking eliminating the sole witness would keep their secret safe. Simon was surprised when a light appeared ahead. An old man emerged. It was Johnny's grandfather. At this point, Simon tried to deny everything, but the old man, having found the camera by the lake, knew the truth. Without hesitation, the grandfather shot Simon, avenging his grandson's death. The smell of blood attracted the piranhas, and Simon met his end. Unable to escape being eaten,